Leo soul, this is the moment you've been preparing for, whether you realized it or not. A lawyer is coming to you with urgent news that could shift the direction of your financial, legal, or even spiritual path. That's not a dramatic opener. It's a truth you've probably felt in your gut for days, weeks, maybe even months. Something's been moving behind the scenes. You've sensed it. There's been a delay, a stuck energy, a feeling that something with your name on it is out there but it hasn't reached you yet. Maybe it's paperwork. Maybe it's inheritance. Maybe it's validation. But whatever it is, it's coming, and not just metaphorically. It's showing up in real-world form, and it has your signature written all over it. Leo, let me say this as plainly as I can, this is not just a horoscope video. This is a spiritual checkpoint. If you found your way here, it's not an accident. You didn't stumble upon this while scrolling for entertainment. Something bigger drew you here. Call it intuition. Call it divine timing. I call it alignment. Because the message that's waiting for you in this space right here, right now, has been trying to reach you through dreams, through numbers, through sudden memories, and yes, even through silence. You've been patient. Too patient, perhaps. You've done the inner work. You've walked away from what no longer serves you. You've chosen peace over proving yourself. And now, something that was delayed is about to be delivered. So let me ask you something, Leo. What have you been waiting for that feels like it's just out of reach? What's the one thing that, if it finally arrived, would feel like closure or freedom? Because that's exactly what's on the other side of this breakthrough. And I want you to stay with me through this entire message so you don't miss it. A lawyer, or a legal figure, is part of this journey. Not as a threat but as a messenger. They carry documents, clarity, information that finally moves a situation forward. For some of you, this may be about money. For others, it's recognition. For a few, it's a long-awaited resolution. And for many of you, it will involve a decision. A signature. A step that says, I'm ready to receive. And I believe you are. But don't just watch this video passively. Claim your part in this shift. If this speaks to something deep within you, even if you can't explain it yet, pause for a second and type this in the comments. I'm ready to receive what belongs to me. Not because it's a trend. Not because it's something cute to do. But because writing it down starts the shift. It's not about might, it's about you telling the universe that you're no longer shrinking to fit. You're showing up fully, finally, for what's been yours all along. Let me also take a moment to say this truly and sincerely. Thank you. Your presence here matters. Every like, every comment, every moment you choose to engage with this channel helps bring messages like this to more people who need them. You're not just a viewer, you're part of something bigger. A shared energy field of growth, of faith, of healing. Here at Eternal Mindfulness, we're not chasing clicks. We're building clarity, one truth at a time. And what's coming for you, Leo, is nothing short of divine justice. I don't say that lightly. So trust me when I say this, stay until the very end of today's message. The clarity, the confirmation, and the choice, yes, your choice, are waiting. Now, tell me in the comments, what brought you here today? What inner nudge said, watch this? Because chances are, that voice wasn't just your it was the beginning of something much, much bigger. Leo, when the stars align across the 2nd and 8th houses in your chart, it's rarely random. These aren't just coordinates on an astrological wheel. They're pressure points, energetic gateways where matters of value, worth, inheritance, and legacy tend to surface. And in your case, right now, they're lighting up with the kind of intensity that doesn't whisper. It declares. That's why I need you to understand something that goes beyond prediction. Someone is already moving toward you. Someone in a position of power. Not power to control but power to confirm. This could be a lawyer, a financial advisor, someone with authority over a system or process that has long felt stuck. I've seen this many times before in sessions, moments when people thought they were forgotten, only to discover that their name was on something important all along. Something got held back. A decision was delayed. A document misplaced, maybe intentionally, maybe not. But now, it's being found. And it's coming to you. When I pulled the King of Swords, I knew we weren't just talking about abstract possibilities. We were talking about someone with precision, with documents in hand, with clarity. This person is exacting, detail-oriented, perhaps intimidating to some, but their presence in your field right now is a blessing. They carry more than information. They carry movement. And that's something Leo has been waiting on for a while. Divine momentum. You've done your part. You've waited. You've grown. You've endured the silence and the almosts and the not yets. You've chosen not to fight dirty even when you were wronged. That integrity, it hasn't gone unnoticed. In astrology, what activates in the 8th house isn't just about what you inherit from others, it's also about what you're spiritually, karmically, and energetically owed. And when the King of Swords enters the scene in this phase of your life, it tells me the energy is shifting from waiting to receiving. That matters. But here's something deeper. I want you to see this person, this lawyer, advisor, messenger, not just as a figure with a briefcase, but as an energetic archetype. They represent the return of your voice, the restoration of order, and maybe even the closing of a loop that began years ago, when you were silenced, overlooked, or told to wait your turn. The truth is, your turn never left, it was simply paused by forces outside your control. But heaven doesn't forget. And neither does the part of you that quietly held on. In my experience, we don't always recognize answered prayers when they arrive. They don't always come wrapped in ease or comfort. Sometimes they come as uncomfortable emails, as certified letters, as legal notices. But if your name is on it, and your energy has earned it, then trust that it's not here to disrupt, it's here to deliver. That's what this moment is. And while I won't force any belief system on you, I will say this: many of us who live by faith, in whatever form that takes, know what it feels like to wait on justice, to pray for release, to carry invisible burdens that no one else sees. If that's you, then let me gently remind you, what is yours cannot miss you. Delayed? Yes. Denied? Never. Not when divine timing is at play. So as you hear this, let it settle in your chest. Breathe into the possibility that someone out there is currently holding the keys to your next chapter. That they're preparing to speak your name not just legally, but energetically. And when that message arrives, I don't want you to question whether you're ready. You are. You've always been. You just needed the right door to open. If you feel something stirring in you as you hear this, don't keep it in. Write it. Claim it. Say it out loud or drop it in the comments below. I am ready to receive what is mine. Because that simple act, it tells the universe you're awake. You're available. And above all, Leo, you're no longer waiting. You're welcoming. Leo, if you've been seeing certain numbers repeat themselves like 17 or strange initials keep showing up in emails, dreams, or random conversations like JG, this is not just coincidence. I know that might sound vague or overly mystical to someone hearing it for the first time, but from years of walking alongside people through intense transitions and divine timing, I've learned this: patterns are often the language of the universe. The messages don't always arrive with flashing lights. Sometimes, they arrive through repetition. Through nudges. Through a subtle yet consistent echo you just can't ignore. You may have felt this already. Maybe it was a dream that kept looping. A sense of urgency that shows up at the same time every day. Or maybe a name keeps popping into your mind when you least expect it. Whatever it is, I want you to know you're not imagining things. You're being prepared. When the universe wants to get your attention, it rarely shouts. It whispers, and it waits to see who's listening. In astrological terms, Leo is ruled by the sun, the center of the system. Your sign holds the energy of light, of visibility, of power. But here's the catch: sometimes, your breakthroughs arrive not when you're standing in full spotlight, but when you're quiet enough to feel what's stirring just beneath the surface. Right now, your field is pulsing with clues. The number 17, for example, often carries the frequency of alignment after a long pause. It's a reminder that something decided long ago is finally coming full circle. Meanwhile, initials like JG may not mean anything today, but they may match the signature on the envelope that changes everything, or the name of the person who opens a locked door on your behalf. The point isn't to chase symbols, it's to be present enough to recognize when something inside you says, "This matters." In my own life, I've had moments where I nearly missed the sign, not because I didn't believe in divine guidance, but because I was too busy, too skeptical, or too tired. But I've also had moments where I paused, leaned in, and realized that something was aligning for me behind the scenes. And that pause, just that moment of acknowledgement, was what allowed everything else to accelerate. That's what I'm asking of you now. From this moment through the next 72 hours, your energy field will be more sensitive than usual. You may feel an inner nudge to check your inbox at an odd hour. You may get a call from someone you haven't heard from in years. You may find an old document tucked away in a drawer that you swore you had thrown out. When it happens, don't dismiss it. Pause. Look again. Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? You're not being asked to jump. You're being asked to notice. But let's be practical here, too. This isn't just about science, it's also about readiness. If this message is for you, then there is likely a window opening for you to act. That means now is the time to gather what you need. Start with the basics, pull together your personal records. Revisit your financial goals, not the ones you wrote down months ago, but the ones you truly want now. And most importantly, get clear on your intentions. Not what you'll settle for, but what you're truly prepared to receive. You don't need to control how the breakthrough arrives. You just need to be clear on what it would mean for you. What would peace look like if it arrived in your inbox tomorrow? What would justice feel like if it rang your phone? Write those things down. Make space for them. Speak them aloud if it helps. And if something inside you is saying, "This is for me," then I encourage you say it clearly in the comments below. Let your voice claim it. Something as simple as, "I recognize the signs. I am ready to receive what's aligned for me." Because the moment you say it, something starts moving. And that movement is sacred. Leo, when I speak about the woman behind the veil, I'm not telling you a fairy tale or dangling a mystery for the sake of suspense. I'm describing an archetype I've seen play out time and again in people's lives, especially when their charts show the kind of activation yours does now. In astrology, the Queen of Pentacles, or as some call her, the Reina de Oros, symbolizes more than money. She's the embodiment of grounded wisdom, steady support, and practical power. When she appears in your field, it usually means that help is already in motion long before you're aware of it. Think of it less as a single person and more as a role the universe casts someone into for your benefit. Right now, someone, somewhere, is preparing a path for you to walk across safely. I've watched this dynamic unfold with clients who were at a breaking point. They thought they were alone, holding everything together by sheer will, yet behind the scenes a mentor, a professional, or even a relative with influence was quietly making calls, opening doors, and moving obstacles out of the way. Most of the time they didn't find out until much later. That's what this energy feels like for you now. It's not a handout. It's alignment. You've done your part, staying steady, keeping integrity, planting the right seeds. The Queen of Pentacles shows up as a sign that the harvest is on its way and that someone with the right tools is tending the ground on your behalf. But here's the part people often miss. This figure doesn't show up so you can hand your power over. She shows up to hold the door while you walk through it. She's a bridge, not a crutch. That's why the only thing she asks of you is to believe in yourself enough to sign what's yours, to claim the opportunity, to accept support without guilt or hesitation. If you've ever hesitated to receive because you felt you had to do everything alone, this is the time to practice a different skill: allowing. Allowing doesn't mean passivity. It means readiness. It means saying yes to the right things at the right time. Imagine this energy like a lighthouse on a foggy coast. You're steering your own ship, no one can sail it for you. But there's a beam of light cutting through the mist, marking the safest path. That's what this woman's presence is. You may not see her face, you may not even know her name yet, but the impact of her actions will show up as clarity, as documents arriving at just the right moment, as an introduction or a decision that suddenly makes sense. Trust the signal, even if you can't trace it to its source right now. This is also where your intuition becomes your strongest tool. When that email arrives or that offer appears, pause and listen to your body. Does it bring a sense of relief, a deep exhale, even if it's challenging? That's your cue. You don't have to see the whole picture to know when something is right. Intuition and reason are not enemies, they're partners. In this phase of your life, they need to work together. Check the facts, read the fine print, but also respect the quiet voice inside you that recognizes alignment before your mind does. I'm telling you this not as a prediction, but as a pattern you can prepare for. Over the next weeks, be open to noticing who steps forward, who offers help, who mentions your name in rooms you're not in. Don't dismiss small gestures. They're the threads of a larger tapestry being woven around you. And when the moment comes to step through the opening that's being prepared, do it without apology. You earned this doorway. It didn't appear out of thin air. It's the result of choices, growth, and steady work. If this resonates with you, if you feel a flicker of recognition reading this, put it into words right now. Write in the comments, "I allow the right support into my life and I am ready to claim what's mine." That act of naming isn't about pleasing an algorithm. It's about training your own energy to say yes when life finally delivers what you've been building toward. In my experience, that's when the shift begins. Leo, one of the things I admire most about your sign is that you rarely hide from the truth. You're ruled by the sun, and the sun exposes what's hidden. It gives life, but it also reveals. That's why even though you've been hurt by dishonesty before, you still crave clarity. You would rather know the hard truth than live under a soft lie. That's not naivete, that's courage. And this chapter of your life is about that courage paying off. When the moon appears in a spread like yours, it doesn't always mean danger. It often signals that something behind the scenes is about to come into focus. Think of it like walking into a dark room at dawn. At first, the outlines are fuzzy, and your mind fills in the blanks with fears. But as the light rises, you see what's actually there. Some of it may be unsettling. Some of it may be a relief. But either way, it's clearer than it was before. That's where you are now. The fog is lifting, and the shapes are becoming forms. For some of you, this may involve a contract, an inheritance, a professional acknowledgement, or simply a long overdue conversation. Maybe someone has been holding back information or downplaying your contribution. Maybe a decision about money or recognition was stalled. It doesn't matter how long it's been delayed. What matters is that the energy has shifted from hidden to revealed. The same cosmic pattern that delayed your blessing is now pressing for it to be delivered. I've seen this moment many times with people in transition. They think, "Why didn't I know this sooner?" But then they realize that if they had known earlier, they might not have been ready to handle it. The truth landing in your lap now isn't late, it's on time. It's arriving at the moment when you have the emotional muscle to stand in it without letting it define you. That's the real victory here. And this is where justice enters. Not justice as punishment, but justice as balance. Justice as a return to center. In astrology, when hidden matters in the 8th house are illuminated by solar energy, it often marks a season when debts are paid, secrets surface, and roles are corrected. You're not just a passive recipient of this shift, you're a participant. Your willingness to stay steady, to keep your integrity, to let go of bitterness, these have all prepared the ground for this moment. The ally you've been waiting for may show up as a person, a letter, a ruling, or even as your own voice speaking up at last. I want you to notice the feeling that rises in you as you read this. Maybe it's relief. Maybe it's apprehension. Maybe it's both. That's normal. What matters is that you don't shrink from it. Let the light touch every corner. You've earned this clarity. You don't have to fight for it anymore, you simply have to receive it and act from it. And when the information comes, whether it's an email, a document, or a conversation, pause. Breathe. Read slowly. Ask your questions. Make sure you understand. Then decide. The power is not just in the revelation, it's in how you respond to it. You don't have to react out of fear or rush to act out of impulse. You can choose your rhythm, even as events speed up around you. If you're feeling a flicker of recognition right now, don't ignore it. Write it down. Speak it out. Type in the comments, "I welcome clarity and I'm ready to act on the truth." That simple act shifts your posture from waiting to participating. It signals to your own nervous system, and to the universe, that you're prepared to handle what's coming next. In my experience, that's when the fog clears fastest. The truth, even when it shakes you, is the very light that will guide you forward. Dear Radiant Leo, this is the part where the legacy changes. Not just for you but for the ones who come after you. Right now, the spotlight of the cosmos falls on your roots and your reputation. The 4th and 10th houses the axis of home and destiny. When these two areas light up, it's never just about bricks and property lines. It's about the stories we inherited and the ones we're finally ready to rewrite. You may not have expected it to happen now, but a long-delayed document, inheritance, or title may find its way back to you. That house you gave up on, that plot of land with your name still floating around it in spiritual escrow, it's circling back. But here's the real shift: you're no longer the same person who once begged for permission. Now, you're the one making decisions. This time, your energy says, "I'm ready." And if you've been longing for a new environment, a space that doesn't carry the weight of generational struggle, it's closer than you think. Spiritually speaking, you're being led to a space that reflects your worth, not your wounds. A home that breathes peace into your nervous system. A setting where your gifts can finally be planted into stable soil, not just scattered in survival mode. That's what this phase is about, planting roots with intention. Not to repeat the past, but to reset the pattern. And because your evolution is no longer just about you, this becomes a multi-generational breakthrough. The stability you claim today will echo through the lives of those who carry your name or your energy tomorrow. Even if you're not raising children, your presence influences a lineage. Through your choices, a karmic pattern is being corrected. You'll be faced with decisions. Some may look small on paper, but they're huge energetically. A cash offer now or payments over time? Sign with the one who offers more or the one who offers peace? Trust your spreadsheets or your stillness? Here's the truth most never say: the best decisions aren't made in the mind. They're felt in the body. If your chest expands and your breath deepens, that's your yes. If your stomach knots or your shoulders tighten, that's your divine wait. There's a sacred timing unfolding here. What once felt like punishment, delays, paperwork lost, homes slipping through your fingers, was actually protection. You were never denied. You were being positioned. Because the universe doesn't give a kingdom to a heart that still doubts its worth. Now that you've learned to anchor peace within yourself, the external structures will match that vibration. And if you've been the one carrying old family stories of lack, betrayal, or shame, this is your moment to say, "It ends with me." Not in anger, but in quiet dignity. By choosing wisely now, you're not just building wealth, you're healing bloodlines. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I ready to live where my soul feels safe? Am I ready to stop renting space in old trauma and start owning space in freedom? Type "I'm ready to break the cycle" in the comments if you feel this in your bones. Let the universe see you declare it. Let your future self witness your courage. Let the generations that follow say, "That's when it changed." Leo, you no longer have to wait for someone to rescue you or hand you permission. This is the moment when you pick up the pen and sign your own destiny. Everything you've walked through, every delay, every sleepless night has been preparing you for this exact point in time. Today's message does not come to tell you that salvation is on its way. It comes to confirm that you have already been chosen to restore balance, to receive your reward, and to protect what came before you while opening the road for those who will come after. Take a breath and let that sink in. The power to change your situation is not somewhere out there, it's already in your hands. Can you feel what shifts inside you when you realize that? Can you sense how your heart softens when you finally believe you deserve to receive? The universe is not dangling a promise, it's placing a contract in front of you and waiting for your signature. This is not a metaphor, it's a recognition that the decisions you make now will shape the reality you live tomorrow. Repeat this out loud with me, not as a wish but as a declaration. I am a child of the sun. Justice is coming to me. Blessings are flowing into my home. Feel the words vibrate through your body as you say them. That vibration is what aligns you with the opportunities knocking at your door. When you anchor that belief, the external world adjusts. And now I want you to take one more step, a small but powerful one. Type in the comments, "I acknowledge my rights. I am ready to receive what is mine." Don't overthink it. Just write it and press send. By doing so, you're not just interacting with this video, you're signaling to your own subconscious and to the field of possibility that you're done hesitating. You're claiming your space. You're affirming your readiness. Thank you for allowing me to share this space with you today on Eternal Mindfulness. Every like, every comment, every subscription isn't just a metric, it's a pulse of energy that keeps this channel alive and allows me to bring messages like this to you. Your support is what lets me show up at this level and offer guidance that can truly shift lives. I'm grateful for every moment you spend here. So as you leave this video and step back into your life, remember, you are not being delayed, you are being positioned. You are not at the mercy of circumstance, you are at the threshold of your own authority. Ask yourself right now, what is one decision I can make today that honors my worth? What is one small step I can take to prepare for what's coming? Stay with me until the end of this journey because the revelations ahead are extraordinary. The light breaking through for you is not just information, it's transformation. And when you're ready, it will not just change your papers or your bank account, it will change the way you see yourself.